Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. So today we're coming back to the agriculture area. Like I mentioned last episode, we're going to be coming back here, we're going to be doing some speed building today as we begin to finish out the basic structure of our last big agriculture building, that big cobblestone mess that was piled up. We're going to work on that for about half the episode-ish. We're not going to completely finish out, we haven't really been doing interiors and final detail work. We are going to be doing a lot of work in the next episode as far as bringing everything together, finishing out little bits and walkways and kind of decorating things. But today we're just going to get that last structure put in, the basic design of the structure, and then the last half of the episode we're going to work on something that I've been wanting to get set up for a while now. Now that we have power and now that we have that final building where it's going to go, we're going to set something up. So anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the speed build, and then we'll come back about halfway through and do a little setup. Okay, so it's finally time to get rid of this big cobblestone mess. It's just been sitting in the middle of our agriculture area. You guys knew I wanted a building here, but just now we're getting to it. But now that we have power, we're going to start setting up some stuff that goes in here. One thing today in particular, but this is kind of going to be sort of like the hub building of our agriculture area. Of course, our storage takes place in where the kitchen and stuff is, in that one building over on the right hand side from looking at the front. The bulk of the harvesting as far as seed crops goes on that left hand building, and then the back building is for our tree crops, and then we're also going to have wood production and stuff inside of there, a lot of our bulk wood production. But this building is kind of for the other stuff, the other things that the other setups and stuff that we're going to be using aside from our large farms and stuff like that. Of course, we're going to be doing a bit with mystical agriculture coming up, and that's going to tie in slightly into this episode, the back end of this episode. We're going to be setting up to help us out with that. But anyways, I went ahead and started cleaning out a lot of the cobblestone because that was just kind of a general space that it was going to take up, not really the shape that it was going to be. So we're building out the front here, and it's actually going to be a fairly large building, in truth. It's fairly large, has a lot of space inside. It's a little bit messy by the time we finish up this episode because, of course, we haven't done the interiors. And there's spots that are going to tie into what we're going to be working on next episode, which is a lot of exterior cleanup work, because we need to do a lot of terrain work. Now that our last building's coming together and being put in here, we need to do a lot of terrain work, and then a lot of our walkways and stuff like that that connect from this building to other buildings need to be put in. Because ideally, what it's going to be is it's going to be a lot of covered walkways, so you can walk through when it's raining and stuff like that and not be rained on. So we're going to be working on that next episode and kind of bringing all this together and a lot of the exterior. But we're going to go ahead and start putting on the roof. I do change I changed it a bit because it ended up being really high, and that really wasn't what I wanted right there. I started putting it together, and then I looked at it, I was like, I don't really like this. But originally what I had thought about doing was actually building it up tall like that and making all that middle section glass, so it would let a lot of sunlight in, and kind of having the floors so that they were more setback balconies. But then I changed my mind. It didn't really fit that building. Would work for more of like a modern style building, I think, but I don't think it worked very well with this building all that much, and I didn't really like the way it was coming together, so I ended up scrapping that. But we're kind of keeping with the general theme of this area. We're using a lot of the wattle and daub, we're using the spruce pretty much throughout the building. It's actually rather simple buildings, but they're fun to work on. And I think they all kind of come together, and I think especially after next episode, once we start getting the terrain leveled out and just all of it kind of brought together, because right now it's just buildings in kind of this really messy, grassy area. But I think after next episode, it's going to be coming together really nice. I really want to put a lot of time into finishing out the agriculture area. I don't know if we'll do it just non-stop until we finish the agriculture area, because we still have a lot left. Realistically, we still have a lot left to put out here. But we're going to be spending at least a fair few episodes working out here. and then we'll switch back over and get into some of our magical builds and start working on finishing those out. I want to work in that one big building and then in the astral building. But right here I'm starting to scrap that roof, bring it down, and I decided to go more with like where it comes up and then it goes more flat for a moment. For just a little bit, because we're going to put a big section there on the back end. You can see on the bottom side of the back end there, that is actually open. I decided to kind of have that open area, but it's still covered. And then it supports the second and third floor, which are completely covered back there. So the roof, of course, is all done with the quark roofing tiles, just like our other buildings in this area. Honestly, I think my favorite one though is that very back one where the tree crops are. I love that building for some reason. I don't know, I think they all kind of came together really, really nice once it's all done. So, but this one I wanted something just really big, a big space to kind of work in, and that way we had plenty of space for a variety of setups that I want to put into this area. So there's just something about wattle and daub and that spruce that just works so well, I think. Lots of pillars and stuff like that to run and connect. You will notice that the back side and the front side, the pillars are, they're not set kind of connecting to each other, and that is actually on purpose. Kind of doing something a little bit different, having a little bit of fun with this building instead of just doing another really straightforward setup. Where all the pillars set across from each other and all that. I wanted to do something a little bit different and kind of make this a little bit more of a wild sort of structure as far as the setup and everything of it. But go ahead and light that area up. I was having some mob spawning, and I'm filling in some floors and stuff like that here and there, but it's not totally done at this point, to say the least. But yeah, we'll work on interiors before too long. Just like our tech tower that's over there, that building's kind of steadily coming along. We do have the bottom floor, and the second floor is almost done as far as interiors go, but just kind of building those out as we go instead of spending a lot of time setting them up and then ripping them up to put in setups and things like that and then having to rebuild it, because it just causes me to have to double up on the amount of work that I had to do. I did pull away the walkway there. Reason being, I didn't really like where it connected in. I didn't want it to connect into the third floor. I ended up changing my mind and wanting it to connect into the second floor because it worked a bit better as far as space goes and stuff. But you can see as the roof starts coming together, the very top of the roof is a little bit more flat. Kind of more akin to our greenhouse over there, and a couple spots in the kitchen storage building as well that have some flat roof spots. And Enderman seemed to like peeking into my windows, as you can see. But the stairs all stayed the exact same place as where we had them originally in the cobblestone area. This building has been kind of in the planning stage. It's been there, and I had some ideas on it, but as far as how I wanted to set it up, but actually getting to put it together was a bit of fun. It did take a little while because I got stuck trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. You can see up at the top we do have a pillar that runs along the top of the building and kind of sits a little bit higher than the rest of the the rest of the pillars that come through. And then we are building a little side section. I decided I wanted it to be the same way on this side as on the other side, and symmetry. That's what I was trying to think of. The word escaped me for a minute, but I wanted it to all be symmetrical. So I ended up bringing a little roofing section out right here and basically mirroring it as, to the opposite side. And we're going to use that for kind of a little storage type space, I think. Just an exterior little storage shed, I guess. And but we'll have it be open to the sides, and then but still on the exterior, I guess. Kind of a drop-off place and stuff coming from the farms. They can drop off, stuff there, or maybe have a little stabled section. I've got a couple ideas for it. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to use it for just yet. And then we're just kind of finishing out wall sections, and bringing that all together. And you can see there's a little bit of a dip with the roof there, and we'll finish putting all that in together, or putting that together here in just a second. And I had originally meant for this episode to be out last week, but then I kind of had a camping trip come up, and like primitive camping, and ended up being gone for a few days and not getting around to finishing this out. And then when I came back, I was like, what do I do? Where was I at? And so yeah, it took me a couple days after getting back to get back into the groove of things and back into what I was working on. But you can see right there, that's why I didn't want the walkway to connect to the third floor, because it's only 3 blocks high. On this side, it's a little bit taller on the other sections because it lifts up, the roof lifts up, but it's more of like a, not really an attic section, but I did some kind of fun things, or had some fun with setting things, kind of having different elevations. You'll see right here that these wall sections that we're about to build on this, the top of the building here, actually have different heights and stuff. So the back wall there actually sits up a little bit taller on top of spruce, and then it's only going to end up being 4 blocks tall. And then the front section here, as we come to this, is going to be 5 blocks high and sets 1 below the back section. So I had a bit of fun with that, having little areas you can see right there. It's all a little bit different from spot to spot or wall to wall, but I did have a bit of fun with that and doing some things a little bit different with this build and making it a little bit crazier, I guess. But I think the final product, I'm pretty happy with it. And when you're walking through, I can't wait for next episode, get this plaza section type area built around all of these buildings, because I think it's really going to bring all this together and make for a really nice area. Plus, probably try to go find another peace candle and stick it down here just to keep the mobs from spawning in this area, because they've been terrible. Absolutely terrible in this area. And during this speed build, they actually blew up a front section of my building. Not a whole lot, but they did destroy a couple blocks, so creepers. And it wasn't even me being near them, it was a skeleton shot a creeper, and then the creeper blew him up, and yeah. But as you can see, all kind of coming together. We're going to finish out the wall sections here on the back end, and once again the bottom floor is open. We are going to add some extra supports and railings and stuff back there in the next episode, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that it's kind of all come together. And it's been a long project because we took a break and did tech and did magic and stuff during the process of building this area out, but it's going to be done soon. Okay, so there's where we're at the moment. You can see it all kind of matches the rest of the structures, except for, of course, the greenhouse, which is glass, but it still uses the spruce wood. Now, there's still a little bit to do to this, which we're going to be doing next episode as we bring all this together, just kind of getting the basic structure. And you can see this little bit of roof that comes out on this side. This side, of course, has a little bit of a section of the wall there that comes out, but this section is going to be used as kind of probably a storage type area, just kind of off the side of the building there. Just because I felt like, normally I don't care too much about symmetry, but I just think it looks a whole lot better when it's symmetrical like that than if it wasn't. So, and we have to do the front section here. I haven't built that at the moment because I'm not ready to finish it out just yet, and mobs will climb the stairs. But the main reason I haven't finished that out is because we're going to be shaping all of this up, all the ground and stuff, and cleaning everything up. So we'll do the entrance. Some of these buildings really don't have the entrances finished. So this is going to see a walkway added, like a covered section that comes up and connects over to there. So we're going to be finishing all this out in the next episode and kind of adding that covered section that comes through. And I've got to figure out how, if I want to do the enriched infused wood and just bring it over and connect it there and connect it over here, or how I want to do that. So that's not put in just yet, but We're going to figure that out. And then we're going to be doing the covered section that comes out here, and it's going to be a double layer because we have two different paths that connect over. And that way it's really just easy access to this phytogenic insulator room, as well as kind of having a covered section there that's ground level that connects over to the tree farm areas without having to come up and go around to the back side here and go in there. It's really more for just me being able to fly into here and be like, oh, here we go, I'm in the phytogenic room or the tree room. And then we're going to do the walkways that go over here. This is going to be a covered walkway that comes over to this door, and then these two doors are actually going to come out to a outdoor area, and this is actually going to get cleaned up and shaped up, and we're going to have an outdoor area where you can eat and sit and stuff out here and kind of overlook this area. So that'll be kind of what we work on next episode, and then doing all this grass and leveling everything out to where it needs to be. It's actually a lot of work we have to do. And also bringing through this, because this river is actually going to come out a bit, and we're going to be bringing this out and doing stuff with it, because this is going to be setting slightly over that, and then this is going to come down and have a dock. I don't know. Looking at it, I don't know if we'll get it all done next episode. We'll see. And then this is going to come out and go into kind of a storage, small storage section that's out here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we get to, because we're actually going to have a little storage section that runs up along against this wall, I think, but it's actually a ton of work still left to do when I stop and actually go through everything that we got to do. But inside, basically we have just a large room here right now. We're probably going to add some walls and make actual rooms, and of course this section that is kind of open to the outside. And then these stairs here, which we still have to actually put in the actual stair blocks, so we're not going to stay cobble. This area here, and over here we're going to be doing a small setup today. And then up here, up into this section, and then the upper area, which is going to be kind of an attic area that goes up here, up in this section. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good. We'll just have a lot of work to really kind of wrap up this space, because it is a really large space. If you look at it on the map, you can see it is, I mean, it's pretty much all of this. Well, really once it's all done, it's going to be like all of this is agriculture, but we have a lot of farms and stuff to put in the coming episodes. But that's one thing we're going to be doing today. That's why I wanted to go ahead and get this started. So what we're going to do, let's pop up to here, and let's get ourselves, I want 2 farmers, and I only made stuff for 1. Okay, quest complete. Farmer. Let's go ahead and let's turn that in. Let's get a loot box and another magical boomerang. All right. Let me go ahead and get the stuff for another farmer real quick. Let me pop on over. They're super cheap, super cheap. I am gonna need the iron real quick. I gotta check something, because I put a bunch of oh yeah, we're good on uranium. Just double checking, because I had put a bunch of uranium in the chest that's over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our other farmer. There we go. And we're going to be setting these up right over here. Now these will cover a 9x9. We're only going to be covering a 5x9 space. So let's come over to 3, 4, 5. Put a farmer there, and then we'll come over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put a farmer there. I guess. I mean, I could put them into the wall there. Maybe, just so we don't have these machines just randomly sticking out. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Farmer's gonna set here, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna put a farmer here also. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these up for the time being, just so I can actually kind of access this, and I'll put them back here in just a second. Alright, so what we're going to do is, let me pop over, let me get a couple things here. I'm going to want, just so we can make this really clean and not have anything visible. So what we're going to do for the energy, We're going to put in our flux points. We're going to have one setting there. And we're going to go ahead and say that's our network. And we're going to put a conduit right there. And it's going to provide power to our farmer. There we go. So the farmer's got power. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side. Flux point. There we go. It can be hard to grab it sometimes. So put it on our network, connect it. There we go. Alright, so the farmers have power. And then what I want to do is, let's pop over, let's go grab our seeds real quick. I could put sprinklers into this just to make it faster. But then I have to deal with the water and stuff. I don't think I'm going to. I might put like lamp of growth or something like that in there. Basically just everything from this farm. What we're going to do is we're going to put in our inferium seeds right here. And that way those can start growing. I really want to put a sprinkler or something. I mean, I could put water. It's not going to be an issue because actually on the bottom here, you know, you can see the fertile dirt, but we're going to be doing slabs or chisels and bits or something to do a ceiling. So it's not actually, you're not actually going to be able to see the infused wood and the spruce and all that. I may make the spruce visible. That might be the only thing that you can see from down there, but you won't be able to see all this. So, I mean, technically I could do water and put sprinklers up here. But do I really want to? Not really. Not really. I really don't even need them over there because the stuff's all growing so fast. And since we're going to have seeds for each, you know, each tier of seed planted, we're going over the top crazy with it. But let's go ahead and put in our basalt, our slate. Maybe it'll grow right there. I know sometimes it doesn't like things above it. Let's go ahead and move it over there for right now. Then we'll put in our iron. This one's going to be a little bit crazier. I'm only doing 2 farmers. And farmers, you can't really set like how they place the seeds, where they place the seeds, all that. So we're just going to go a little bit wild with it and just place down all this throughout here. There we go. And our water seeds, which really don't have much use for, but we're going to plant them anyways. So we'll give that some time. And while that's going on, let's figure out where we want to put our storage crates at. Honestly, I think I'd like to have just item laser relays. I think for this, just because we don't have blood magic to the point of where we can do nodes, and doing an item relay would be great for this, I think. So we're going to want like a couple of those, and we need to let's see, the advanced. I don't think that we'll really need an advanced for this though. We're basically just going to have to atomic reconstructor these. So there we go, there's item laser relays. And then we're also going to need the wand for this, right? Can't remember what it's called, but the laser wrench, 2 Inori crystal, and advanced coil. I'm just going to replicate that because we can. Alright. Let me just pop back over. So we'll grab that, and what we're going to do, I have to pull up some of this wall here for just a minute. Yeah, I think that would be best. So we're just going to run out conduits. The big question is where to put this, because we're going to need got to figure out where to put this so that I can hide it effectively back here. Well, let me go ahead and connect this conduit line. So that's going to go here. And have these grown enough? No. Not to break anything. It's going to be kind of slow without, unless we do some kind of a growth system. So I think we will. I've just got to figure out what I want to do. Lamp of Growth or something like that, I think would be best for this. Which we don't have at the moment, but we could get pretty easily. What if, okay, we facade that. Yeah, this could work. We facade that, we put in a crate that sits here, and this will be the one that has the item laser relay, and then we can place the wall up there. And I think that would work out, and that way it wouldn't mess up anything over here. So I think that's what we'll do. But this one has just grown. We're going to get into some growth speed stuff pretty soon, I think. I think this will be the one space that I really wanted in, but I don't think I want to go with sprinklers again. I don't believe. So there we go. Oh, it just, oh, okay, it just replaces it, it seems like. I don't know that we even need the self-feed in that case. In the past, I remember this thing would actually break it, and you had to feed it back in. But it doesn't seem like that's the case anymore. So let's turn off self-feed and no insert. Because I don't think that we're going to have that. That must have been changed or something, because that wasn't always the case with this. And it looks like we just self-feed fed the water essence back over, so we'll give that just a second. That's going to work out even better in that case. Well, I mean, we're going to be getting the seeds, and we'll have to replant them if we do it this way. Okay, looks like slate just grew. We should see what happens to it. Just want to double check, make sure that this is working well. And we have one slate essence in there at the moment. It breaks it, it replaces it. And then over here, or it just basically breaks it, and then over here we get the slate essence. Awesome. And the farmer should be able to create seeds. I know in the past it has been. I'll have to let it run for a little while just to see, but I think I might make a watering can real quick just so that we can do this a little bit quicker. So, plus I've got to get one other thing together. 1 second here. Okay, yeah, this works a bit better than I recall it working in the past. So whenever it breaks stuff, I mean, it breaks it off, and it is duplicating seeds, but what it does is it just places the new ones down for us without needing it to be inserted at all, and it doesn't send it to the crate. So this is sending the items to the crate. If we give it a little bit, we're not having a whole lot of luck at the moment, it doesn't look like, but yeah, you can see right there, it's held onto that fiery ingot seed and has placed it over here now, so that's going to work out very, very well for us. It'll just place it kind of in the next available slot. So yeah, I like that. Didn't used to work that way, from what I recall. The last time I used it, I don't recall it working that way. Maybe it did, but it has been a little bit. Alright, so what we're going to do, grab this back out, place that down. I'm done back there, so I'm going to go ahead and just hide this. And so that can just start placing. Still need to add some kind of a growth boost to this area, but we'll get to that in due time. Even if I just use this watering can, I mean, this is kind of set up to be kind of sort of a passive system, so that should be fine for us. And then over here, what we're going to do is we're going to put in one of our item laser relays right here, and then I went ahead and made a hopping item interface for us, and these are these are just hoppers and the item interface, which is actually super cheap. We're going to go ahead and just set this up. We're going to have our crate setting here, and this is basically going to get all the items, and then we're going to put our hopping item interface feeding into that crate and our item laser relay on top. And that way we can have all the essence and excess seeds come into this crate as needed. And then what we'll do is we'll just connect that up to the item laser system. So shift right click and then right click, and we're going to start seeing essences being sent over and fed into our crate here. So that should be good for us. and then I can, if I want to use these essences, honestly, I may just end up trashing them. I don't know, because we'll be setting all this up for automation. But I don't know. We'll probably store them somewhere, and so I'll just take it over there and dump it. Probably use this to set up our initial seeds, and then I'll slot the essences whenever I go to move the seeds, I guess. So into like more permanent places. I think that should be good. And then especially once we get some kind of a growth boost in here. Right now it's just like a slow kind of system, even though I can use the watering can on it. I did test in my test world with setting up a mechanical user to handle this, but it didn't really work, at least with this watering can. I went ahead and made one of these because it's actually super cheap, and there's really no point in making the cheaper ones. Realistically, I could plug up that crate to the item network and have the item network handle everything, but I don't think it's really required, really necessary. I don't think so anyways. And you will notice the seed that's planted right back there is still growing without issue, so we don't have to worry about that one not growing because of the lantern or anything like that. It's working fine. So, and that way we can just get seeds and grow out our farms without having to make the seeds, because they are a little bit expensive for us at the moment. And we can just use these to handle everything, because I want to start duplicating seeds and starting to set up big essence farms at this point. And then let's go ahead, we'll go ahead and just hide that, and then we'll go ahead, this might be a little bit tricky. There we go. And then that whole system is hidden back in there. And then I'll probably do some kind of like a fence or something that blocks this off, because realistically we don't need to interact with this too much except to change over crops. So once we're done running any of these, we just pull all the seeds up and then replace, put in new seeds. We can just dump them into here and it will automatically plant them for us. So, and then we'll get some kind of a growth boost. Like I said, I think I'm going to go with maybe a lamp of growth from Thaumcraft. Probably going to be the method that I go with, because it should work fine for us. Once we get our Thaumcraft stuff really up and going real well, then it won't be any issue at all to set that up. So, and Herba Essentia is something I usually have an absolute ton of. So, but yeah, so anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point 4 of this episode, so I'm going to end this one out here. I just kind of wanted to get that set up this episode so we can go ahead and start duplicating some seeds at this point. And make that a little bit easier on us. So next episode we're probably going to be just speed building the majority of the episode, just working on the exterior out here a bit, and just kind of bringing all this together, because I really want to get this space done, or at least close to it. And if we have time, I'd like to work on some of the walls on this side, but I don't know if we'll get to it in the next episode or not. We need to do just a whole big episode of just nothing but walls here before too long, I think. Maybe so. Ugh. It just takes forever. It takes forever to do these walls. So they match the ones, over here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe. I'll see you guys then.